Hello, everyone, and welcome to the world of the International Fab Talks. We welcome each one of you to join us on the International Fab Talks because we have wonderful people joining us from different parts of the world, wanting to share their expertise, their knowledge, and experience. When we meet wonderful people like these, who have been through a lot of ups and downs, who have faced life in different forms, it could be on the personal front, professional front, and as an individual of this universe. We are happy when they share their time with us because time is really important. And when they share their time, it means that they are ready to share something, a bit of themselves with the whole world and inspire the world in the right way. Today, we have a wonderful inspirational person joining us all the way from Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. He's none other than Mr. Snow, lovingly called as Mr. Snow. His real name is Marcus Snowden, lovingly called as Snow. So let's welcome our celebrity and guest for today, get to know more about his journey as to what he's been through and how he is taking his life forward, what are his dream projects, and how he would like to influence the world and give back to the community in the right way. Join us, friends, now to welcome Mr. Snow. Hello, Mr. Snow, and thank you so much for being here with us. It's a pleasure to have you here today. Thank you for gracing the International Fab Talks.
Andrea, the pleasure is literally all mine. I'm super excited to be on your program. I was referred to you by a good friend of mine that you hosted recently, and I'm not a seasoned podcasting expert or interviewee, so I'm super nervous, but I'm very excited to be on your program. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being so humble, Mr. Snow. That's really nice to be humble in spite of achieving so many things. You're very down to earth and humble. And we would love the youth of the world to have this humbleness within them, to be egoless and to connect and bond with the right kind of people. I go ahead and share your profile and then we begin the session, sir.
That'd be great. Thank you.
That's really nice. Thank you so much. My dear friends, as you know, it's a honor and privilege to share the profiles of our celebrities and guests and a responsibility as well. And today it is the time to celebrate the life journey of our special guest who's here is Mr. Marcus, lovingly called as Snow. He'd love to be called as Snow, and he doesn't like to be called as Mr. or Sir or something like that. He's just a person very down to earth, can connect and bond with you, just like he's just your neighbor, or maybe the person you just met, or you can say like somebody who's just like you, who could connect and bond with you in the right way. So let me go ahead and share it in an official way. He is the founder and managing director at Eyeballen. That's really nice. We'll get to know what is this all about, Eyeballen. It's something unique, and how Sir would like to give back to the community in the right way. We'll get to know. I add a little more to Sir's profile. He was born in Joliet, Illinois, in the year 1971. Marcus Snowden, affectionately known as Snow. He was a young boy, but he came of age. He understood the reality of life. He grew up in a very challenging neighborhood where drugs, gangs, and violence looked every nook and corner. He was aware of the things that were not okay for the children of his age. He discovered his interest in sports when he was in the 8th grade, using it as a refuge from the dangerous path that lay ahead before him. The life of a gangster could have targeted him at any point of time, but he chose to take the other path, the path of honesty, the path of peace, and he moved away in the right way by focusing on being a sports person. While he says that he was not naturally gifted to be in the, in that zone where they play basketball, but nevertheless, he developed strong work ethics, goal-setting skills. They play this game, basketball. There are losses, there are wins, there's success and failure. He has learned all this by participating in this beautiful game. Snow achieved memorable moments on the basketball court during his high school years, including a dramatic victory over Lockport and winning the slam dunk contest at Joliet West. His journey diverged from a planned college basketball career when he enlisted in the United States Air Force. That's great. In his 24-year military career, he served in various roles and locations around the world, including special operations and the Defense Intelligence Agency as a military diplomat assigned to the US embassies worldwide, including 1 year in Afghanistan. Following his retirement at the US Embassy in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, Snow briefly consulted for a logistic company there before launching his passion project. And that's what we're going to discuss today about eyeballing. It is international balling. Now we'll get to know what is it. If I'm pronouncing it in the right way, sir will do justice to that when he shares it. Eyeballing serves as a global competition platform connecting businesses, participants, etc. from across the globe and rewarding them with amazing prizes like dinner for two, cash rewards, incentives, staycation packages to overseas once in a lifetime, all expenses, paid vacations to compete, etc. It's Snow's way of giving back to the communities that enriched his life during his travel to more than 35 countries. His ultimate goal is to connect even more communities through Eyeball and brand. Snow currently resides in Malaysia for 15 years with his wife, Claire, and they have a beautiful bond and understanding between them. His wife is a career educator and she is a warm-hearted person. And recently, Sir has published his first multi-author book, Leaders with a Heart, Volume 2, chapter titled Eyeballing with Snow. Wow, that's great. Play locally, win globally, based on his new podcast, Eyeballing with Snow. Contact Snow below and connect with your brand and your community with this global movement. That's what they say. Let's see how we can play locally and win globally today. Let us win the heart of this gentleman who's here with us. Let's get to know more about his journey and celebrate his life here on the International Fab Talks, dear friends. When you meet people of great experience and exposure, he's been traveling across 35 countries. Imagine the rich experience he would have had, the good, the bad, the ugly, and the very best. Let's get to know all about it today on the International Fab Talks. Snow, I'm so happy that you've taken out some time for us. It's really a pleasure to have you here, share your journey with us. I have shared something from my end, but our viewers and many of the people who would view this session one day would love to hear it directly from you. Who is the real Snowden? Over to you, sir.
Wow, Andrea, that's an amazing introduction. I'm always fascinated to hear those words read back to me, because I remember all of it, but it reads. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it reads somewhat like a dream. It sounds amazing, and my life has been truly blessed. The ups and downs, the challenges, I've taken all those in stride. So I appreciate that, such a warm introduction. Yes, my name is it's born and raised Marcus Snowden, but only my mother and select few family members back at home in Joliet calls me Marcus, and I've been known as Snow all across the globe since I've traveled around. And yeah, after having experiences playing basketball in high school, and my extensive military career, I've served for 24 years in all those platforms that you just mentioned and a few others. I've had some very amazing opportunities to try different things, like once in a lifetime things, and I've taken every experience, every embrace, every challenge, and I embrace them wholeheartedly. And after serving in the military for 10 years, in the military, some of us know that when you get to 10 years in the military, you can have a decision to make. If you continue on for another 10 years, that's when you can receive a full pension or not. Some people elect just to get out after one tour. I decided to make it a career and spend another 10 years. But it was at that 10-year point in 1999, I was really appreciating where I've come from and where I've been, where I am at the time. And I've always wanted to do something to give back to my community, because after leaving that area that you just read, Joliet, my hometown, I've learned that there's so much more out there, and that if the young people in my community could just see these things, how much better they would be. So I actually started formulating the concept of eyeballing brand back in 1999. I thought I was going to retire from the military, go back to my hometown, Joliet, and start a youth center to give back to the youth at that time, to give them direction. But my path led me someplace else. And it ended me up here in Malaysia 24 years later. And I still was looking for a way to give back. And that's how the brand Eyeballing was born.
That's quite interesting, Snow. That's really nice. Now, there are several people around the world who would like to travel like you. You had the opportunity to travel across the world. I mean, like 35 countries is not a small thing. It's really a very big achievement. Now, when you've been to different countries, visited them, and seen different people, the different cultural events, etc., what is it that you found in common amongst all these people when you've met them in their own countries? Like, what's the commonest thing that you found?
That's a good question, Andrea. There's, I would say that one common thread that we all have across the globe. How do I put this? Humanity.
Wow, wonderful. I was just waiting for that answer.
Despite what we see on television and these negative images and messages that we get, and as you say, I've traveled to, I think I'm up to 35 or more countries. I can't remember exactly. But I've been to many countries where I would have been the only American that someone would have run into. I would have been only the Black American or African American that they would have run into. And I hear this all the time. Wow, you're not anything like what we see on TV. So I've had dinner. I have dinner with lots of different cultures, lots of different families around the globe. We all want the same thing. We all want to have our kids and our families to be safe, to have nice food to eat, and a nice roof over our head, and to be educated. These are the basic principles of decent humanities and decent societies. And this is what everyone wants. All the other stuff, that's just the noise that gets in the way, that gets in our, that blocks our mindset. The rest of it is just noise. So that's what I found in all those travels. And that, I didn't know it at the time, but that is what has been growing inside me and forcing itself out through this initiative that I'm trying to create.
Beautifully explained, Snow. Thank you so much. Dear friends, it's the human emotions that are the same across all geographical locations, how we react to different types of situations in our life. It could be happy moments, it could be sad moments. We are all the same. We have the same human emotions and the same human bonds. So I understand that when you said humanity and then explained the terms in a clear fashion. Thank you very much, Snow. Now, are you a person who reads a lot? You love reading? Are you an avid reader, or you like to view something and learn something by watching a program, or is it books?
Interesting. I only recently, I think when I wrote that first book published earlier this year, I think that's the first time that I have actually opened up and announced that I couldn't read when I went to high school, 14, 15 years old. I was failing my classes because I was not a very strong reader. I had a very low reading skills level. And I thought that I was not a smart student or smart kid. I've had some tragedies in my life where my auntie was murdered, and my uncle, who was almost like someone I looked up to, when I failed my classes and I could not play basketball. My freshman year, I was academically ineligible to play basketball, and my uncle Blaine, who was guiding that part of my life, he said to me, put me to the side and said, your Aunt Annie would be very disappointed knowing that you didn't do the pass your grades and to play basketball. And that's what fueled me to learn how to read. Also, a great teacher, Miss Sally. She's the one who took me under her arms while in high school and taught me how to read. So I was really never really a strong student until I joined the Air Force and wanted to educate myself and paying for my own school. Then I realized actually I can do this. So to answer your question, do I do a lot of reading? The answer was no. I didn't do a lot of reading, just because reading for me was a challenge for a long time until recently. I mean, recently, I've never read a book cover to cover. Isn't that embarrassing? Back then, I never read a book cover to cover. But another tragic thing happened in my life, which I was given a book to read, and it was the first time I sat down and read something cover to cover. Was Nassim Nicholas Taleb's book, and it was called Skin in the Game. And if you know Nicholas Taleb, his writing, I mean, that's the wrong guy to start reading a book from if you're not a strong reader. But I was passionate for it, and it turned out great, and it led me down this path of entrepreneurship, actually.
You know, Mr. Snow, you're a wonderful person. You're a great human being, very, very genuine. And I like the way you openly shared this with us. Like, I was not confident when I was young. I was unable to read. And then later on, I developed the skills of reading. And you mentioned how, like, your teacher took you under her guidance and helped you to read. That's really nice. Even I faced that same similar situation as you faced it. There are several youngsters out facing the same situation. So it's okay to not be okay when you're in school, but it's time to learn and to develop your skills if somebody is ready to help you. Thank you so much. I like the transparency with which you shared all of that. That's wonderful, Mr. Snow. Now, dear, I'd like to take you to the next question. Now, what is it that you would love to see in the world? Like, you know, the world requires a little change in everybody's eyes. Some people think the world is perfect, but there are several others who feel that a certain area or something has to change to make it look more better or to make it feel more, you know, good for everyone. So in your view, what is the change you'd love to see in the world? Or are you very happy with the world, the way the world is at present?
You know, as I'm on this particular journey, and you're gonna hear me talk about this a lot, journey and tribe. I've learned these two things from my entrepreneurship circles. So since I've been on this new journey of mine, one thing I think I'd like to see in the world, first off, I'm not a big skeptic of the world. I mean, I think the world is a big, beautiful place, and all this negative stuff that you hear, that is a very, very, very small sliver of what human society is really about. But if there's one thing I could change across the board, that would be to learn and practice this more myself, but for others to give more of what they can with no expectations of the return.
Wow.
You see, I am doing this brand I'm doing now is my give back to communities. I don't know that I don't expect anything in return. I have this fascination by, I would like to see, I like to have a platform where someone who doesn't have the opportunity to travel globally create that opportunity. But I know what it would mean for a young person or an older person to travel for the very first time, the first airplane ride to a new country, because we know from a global travelers what that does for the soul and what it does for your home community when you go back. We know what that does for the individual. But for me personally, it gives me a little bit of satisfaction. And so what I'm doing, I think I'm doing something good for society, good for humanity, but am I doing it for the right reason? And still, because it gives me some sense of pleasure, or I'm chasing this thing. I'm reading this book that says if you can divorce yourself from that pleasure piece, no matter how good the event might be for someone, if you can make that piece not be part of it, it's a challenge. So give back to communities more with no expectation of anything in return. That's what I would look for.
That's a lovely message for all of us. You do your best, but don't expect anything in return. You
Yes.
give your very best, or maybe you serve the people in the right way, but don't have any expectations. Whatever is to come will come to you at the right time. That's really nice. I love this message. Now, sir, I'd like to go on to the next part now. You have co-authored a book connected to eyeball and chapter, right? What is this all about? Now, I'd like you to take us on that journey to understand what is eyeballing all about. If you could just share that, and then we go to the next segment. Over to you. How did it start? How did it start? You're the founder and director of this. How did it start? Like, it's something unique I'm hearing for the first time. If you could just elaborate and share it from your end, please.
Sure, I will. So as I mentioned earlier, the concept, the overall concept of the eyeballing brand is giving back to community, right? And so as I've been on this particular journey I'm on, I recall, and you might recall this too, Andrea, if you ever played sports growing up, or the kids in your community playing sports growing up, you know, this format, the industry has been set this way for decades upon decades upon decades. If you play in your local tournament and you win at that level, you win a small prize, a trophy, something, a medal around your neck, but you also get a free entry into the next level contest. And if you win that level contest, you get entry into the next level contest. It's a bigger contest. And if you win that one, whoa, boy, you get to travel overseas for the grand finals. But I've asked hundreds and hundreds of people this one question, and I'll ask it to you and your audience. Everyone, just think for a moment, how many people from your neighborhood have you seen on the grand stage of America's Got Talent, America's The Voice, or whatever the Indian version of the grand finals of the celebrity contest? How many people from your neighborhood has ever been on that stage? The answer usually is none. No one knows anyone from their hometown that's been on the TV, the grand stage, and it's for a particular reason. Remember, if you play in that local contest and you win, you get a free entry into the next level contest. For many of us, that next level contest is across the state, it's downstate, it's a little ways away. I grew up poor. We can't afford to go there and spend money on a sport. So our dreams of playing on the big stage finishes right there. But let's just say that you did have the money. You did have an Uncle Blaine, I read about this in my book, that funds your trip to the next level contest. Well, that next level contest is on September 15th, December 12th. That date doesn't work for you. You have to take care of your siblings, you have to work, you have to do your studies. So the date doesn't work for you. So now there's two things that strike you from going to the next level contest and stops you from being on the big stage. These are all things that happened to me. But let's say that you have an Uncle Blaine and you cleared your schedule and you made it to the next level contest. Well, guess what? It is next level. The contestants is more strict, is more steep. The competition is much, much higher. And so you will lose at that level. At somewhere along the line, you come into someone that is a professional player at that level. And whoa, how can you play against a professional player? And that player are the ones that goes overseas. So most people from your hometowns never get a chance to go there. That's how I developed this. Play locally, win globally. You play this contest in your backyard. It is a small contest in the mindsets of these bigger players because it's online. It's against players who are not that quote unquote good. So it's more of an opportunity for you to play in your backyard, compete in a global contest, right? Because in the past, you were competing locally until you got to the stage where you flew overseas to compete on the global stage, where now every contest is a global contest. Today, after we have this conversation, you will learn that the people in India can play this contest right now. So that's how we developed the eyeballing brand. And I had to figure out how to I figured out we would take one element of the sport and we'll turn that into the contest. Let me give you an example. In basketball, I got the basketball right here actually. In basketball, there's some common shots. There's a layup, there's a jump shot, short jump shot, a free throw, and there's 3-point shots. So this contest that we have is called the Eyeballing Around the World Challenge. We're asking for you to tell us what your name is, where you're from, and where do you ball. Example, my name is Snow. I'm from Joliet, Illinois, but I ball here in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. Then I turn and I take these 10 shots, all recorded by my selfie. What's your name? Where you from? Where do you ball? Turn, take the 10 shots, post, tag, and follow Eyeballing Official, and now you're in this global contest. It's literally that simple. We got guys playing this contest all over the globe for a chance to win local prizes, like this basketball, cash prizes, and the finalists will be flown to Malaysia to compete in the global contest or to the US, the first NBA basketball game. This is my give back to those societies.
That's really nice, Mr. Snow. Thank you so much for sharing that. Now I have a question. Is it for all the genders or is it only like male dominated, if I could know that?
I'm excited that you asked this question. I get really geekish about this. This is literally my passion, and we are now at the stage where we're offering our grand finals contest, which is the trip. So this contest is open for any ages, any sex. I made the announcement that I sponsored 3 teams personally under my own name, not the brand, just my name. And I sponsored my first team I sponsored. I call it an all Malaysian team. 5 players is on each team. Each team consists of 5 players. And I made the announcement that I want 3 males and 2 females on my first team. And the male player I want to be a Chinese male, an Indian male, and a Malay male, and 2 females, any ethnic group, just to get everybody included. That's team 1. Any age group. Team 2, get this, all wheelchair team. If you're in a wheelchair, if you're handicapped in a wheelchair, I want you to play on my global team. If you know any players that are in wheelchairs that like basketball, that dribbles of basketball, I've watched the wheelchair basketball recently and I said, oh my God, I have to do something for this community to get them involved in the global contest. So if you know anyone in the wheelchair that plays basketball, please connect them with me. The first 5 who reaches out to me, I'm gonna put them on my team, my global team. And then my 3rd team is out of Joliet, Illinois, my hometown. I'm hoping that my high school alma mater would step up and play, but literally anyone can play. And I designed it this way to have community leaders, business sponsors, entrepreneurs. The cost is so low, you can sponsor your very own team. I'm going to host you on my podcast to make the announcement of you sponsoring your own team, but it's a way for you to give back to your community because I don't know your community, and your community might reject my offer initially because you know how it is. You try to do something new or something different, you're a stranger, no one reaches out. But for your very own community, as a coffee shop example, I'm showing coffee shops how they can give back to their community simply by saying, maybe come here, buy a cup of coffee, get an entry into this contest under your umbrella because you are giving back to your community. That's what this is. I'm very excited about it.
We are excited too. That's really nice. Thank you so much for sharing that, Mr. Snow. You mentioned that all genders are equal over there. Everyone could join in. And even you mentioned people who are specially abled also, if they're on a wheelchair also, they can join in as in your second team. That's really nice. And the age is not a limit. I think they should be like above 18, if I'm not mistaken.
So I designed this brand to be all inclusive. If you go to my website, internationalballin.com, you'll see 4 or 6 categories. You'll see, and for both male and for female, up to 12 years old, male and female, 13 to 18 years old, male and female adults, and then male and female, for me, above 50 years old. We have a category for everyone. Everyone can play this game. Right now, our tournament for the initial grand prize, this is our initial contest. So this is everyone playing at the same time. And no age category is bracket. This is the major one. But this is our introduction. After this one, we'll be taking only 12 and under girls, 12 and under boys. We'll be taking only 13, 18-year-old high schooler boys, high schooler girls. We'll be taking adult males and females, and then above 50. But anyone can participate. And I'll be looking to connect with schools, all ages, just to have it at their school. Again, I designed it in such a fashion to make it very easy to do, primarily because you just encourage the individuals to participate on their own time. It's very less intrusive, but it gives such a big opportunity for folks to compete. One, just to compete against someone from around the world. That's our number one win. You connect on your social media. We take your name and we pair it with another contestant's similar age, score it, and move on. So yeah, that's it.
That's really nice. Very interesting. Very, very interesting, Mr. Snow. That's very interesting. Now, if they would like to connect with you, and if they're interested in, going ahead with what you've just shared now, how do they connect with Mr. Snow?
Oh, that's easy. We're on social media at iBallin Official, IBALLIN, iBallin Official on all social media, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. I think we're just at iBallin, and on our website is internationalballin.com. iBallin actually stands for internationalballin.com, International Ballin, and so our website URL, is internationalballin.com. And that landing page, you scroll down, you'll see the weekly leaders. That's another thing. If you compete on a weekly basis, we take the weekly leaders of all age categories and we put their information on our leaderboard. Again, just the way. If I remember, if I was playing basketball, I would like to have my name showcased on some website that I can show people that I won something.
That's quite interesting. Very, very interesting. Thank you for giving us that clarity, Mr. Snowden. Thank you very much. What is it that you love about Mr. Snow? What is it that you love about that special person that is Snow?
Wait, are you asking me what do I love about myself?
Yes.
Oh, that's a very that's a very good question. What do I love about myself? I would say that I like to consider myself a genuinely nice guy. I love the notion that I am accepting more and more that I don't know anything. I was very, very, very good at my old job. Very good at my old job. I used to be a logistician for world leaders. President Obama, King of Qatar, Prince Charles, when they came to Malaysia for state visits, I tried to get the contracts to provide those logistical services at that level. And I was very good at that job. As I became an entrepreneur, I learned that I know nothing about the way these other things work. And so I shed all of that I shed all those titles that used to define me, because I was known as the guy that does world logistics for world leaders, and that is all I was known for. And I'm very proud of the notion that I was able to walk away from this and dive into something that terrifies me, which is sharing, and telling my story. I have that book that you mentioned right here, actually, Leaders with the Heart, Volume 2. And my contribution for that is Here I Ballin' with Snow. This book was produced by one of my mentors in podcasting, Lorenzo Payman. He runs a podcasting course. I read his book on the beach in my wife's hometown here called Trengarnu. The sun was rising, and there was a passage inside there. It too was a multi-author book. And that passage was written by someone that said, and it made such a profound statement to me. The passage said, I am open to receive what the universe has in store for me. And right then and there, I knew that was last year, I had to be in this next book that comes out. And so I plotted that journey. And so I'm very proud of myself for taking those steps, writing those words. I didn't know what I was going to write, but in doing so, it turned out that I actually have a lot to say and a lot I am now willing to share. You read some things in my bio as you were introducing me initially, and my wife has told me for many, many, many years that every time I tell a new story to someone that reminds me of some things I have done, she's fascinated and was telling me I need to write a book. And so in thinking about doing so, I realized I've done a lot. My life spans many decades, and I've done some not short of amazing things. And I am humble. I don't like to talk myself up. I feel like when I do that, I'm just showing off. But my mother was an artist and a poet growing up, as I was a kid, and she shared something with me that made me stop to think that when I share my accomplishments with people, in particular her and my relatives, it gives them something to look up to and look up towards. And so I didn't realize that I was perhaps stifling their creativity by not sharing my positive experiences.
Thank you, Snow, for sharing all of that. Thank you very much. As you mentioned about your mother, now may I know, were you mommy's pet or daddy's pet?
Oh, so I grew up in a single parent household. So I didn't know my father until I think I met him for the first time, 6 or 7 years old, because my older brother was asking questions about our father, and then my mother had sent us off to see him one summer. I was always, my mother and I, we have a very, very close bond. Let me share something with you here, if I can, about my mother and I. How much time do we have? We're okay for time?
Yes, definitely. So you could go ahead.
So I've shared this story with people one-on-one. I never shared it with a larger community, larger audience. So I'm very interested to see if this applies to other people. So when I discovered I get migraine headaches when I was like 16 years old, and they would come so frequently, I would have to go to a dark place, cold towel over my head, and just kind of meditate for as long as I could, just to make the pain go away. Nothing helped. And this happened routinely. 16 years old, forever, as long as I can remember. So I graduated high school, I forego my college years to join the military. I'm a couple years into the military. And I remember calling my mom, telling her again, oh, Mom, I'm having this terrible headache. And we had a conversation about it. And then I would call her back again to tell her that, this migraine splitting headache. Andrea, one time I caught a response from her when I identified I'm having a headache that I recall these responses before. And the conversation went something like this. Oh, Ma, I had another terrible headache last week. And she goes, oh boy, you would. Oh boy, you would. So I recalled this from previous conversations. I heard this before. Oh boy, you would. It was almost like, well, of course you would have a headache. So I said, Mom, why did you say that? What do you mean? What do you mean by, oh boy, you would? And she was shocked. She said, what do you mean? I said, Ma, I told you I had a migraine and you said, oh boy, you would. You've said this before, Ma. So what do you mean by, oh boy, you would? Oh, Mark, I thought you knew. When I'm on my menstrual cycle, you have a migraine. Mark, it's always been that way. So the next month that follows, I text her, Ma, headache. She says, of course. And that went on for years. That validation has went on for years. My migraine headaches were happening once a month linked to her menstrual cycle. So over the years, her and we stopped talking about this. It's just what it was. Number one, I don't want to be constantly reminded of my mom on her menstrual cycle. Number one. Number two, it's just something that just kind of passed away. We didn't have to have a conversation anymore because we just knew what it was. I forget what year it was that my headaches started going away. I don't remember because again, it happens so much. So I stopped remembering when it happens. And about 2 or 3 years ago, before the pandemic, Mom and I were talking and said, yeah, I haven't had a migraine in so long. How long? Boy, how long? I don't know, Mom, maybe 3 or 4 years ago. I can't remember the last one. 3 says, yeah, menopause. So I was like, wow, okay. So that connection, that bond that my mom and we have is very strong. Which is why the first book I wrote, Eyeballing with Snow, the first paragraph opens with my tribute to my mother. Again, she's a poet, and she has a poem that I didn't realize made such a profound impact in my life. And the poem is titled "But I Did." It's very short and it goes like this. It's almost like my mantra. I know I said that I never would, but then I thought that I never could, but I did. Published in 1979 by the poet Ray Inn, and I led my chapter with that poem as tribute to my mother.
Very, very interesting. Thank you so much for opening up about your relationship with your mother, how she encouraged you in the right way, and how she stood by you.
Yes.
Alive. That's really nice. And that beautiful poem over there, you've shared that with us as well. Thank you so much. That's really nice. Very, very nice. Now, Mr. Snow, what about friends? How have friends been with you? Were they supportive? Or as we've seen today and in earlier years as well, certain friends are backstabbers. Certain friends are, they always stand for us. Even we are not in the room, they stand and defend us. What kind of friends did you have? Or what do you have to say about friendship?
So what I've learned, I guess you don't get to be 50 years old, 50 plus years old. I'm 53. But you don't get to be this age without having those experiences, right? So that's interesting, friends. I've recently learned to accept the notion that friends, this sounds like kind of a cop-out response or excuse, but it is what it is. They are who they are. Yes, backstabbers, haters, all these things here. But there's something I'm learning, something that I'm practicing. I'm learning and practicing positive energy, right? So whatever friends I had in my life that had negativity surrounding them, then I really pushed them away. I really stay away. Um, you can choose your friends, you can't choose your family. So the family members that are negative, well, though you're gonna always love them, yes, but the friends who have that negative energy, that negative vibe, it's it's not it's not an easy thing to do, but when you start practicing it like anything else, then it becomes easier. But you will find that if you surround yourself with positive energy people, how many more positive energy people you attract. This is not cliches, Andrea, but I'm on this podcast with you because I started practicing in that positive energy not so long ago. My life, my curve in terms of this accomplishments, and I've had some major accomplishments before, they pale in comparison to what I'm doing now with this journey that I'm on. And because I've met wonderful people like Lorenzo Payment, who will be on the podcasting journey. I met wonderful human being, Mauricio Rossini, who's been in my podcast studio here, listening to him. And so my life's journey with positivity is on this curve right now. And so that's how I kind of deal with friends nowadays. I don't let some of the negativity inside. Of course, it's human nature. I would like to see my brand be successful right away out the door, but it's a struggle. And with me making my price points to be very attractive, $25 US to register your own team, one would think that all of my friends would sponsor their own team so we can take this thing to the next level. But as they say in business and entrepreneurship, you can't ask your friends or family to support you at all. Just know that some might, others will talk, others will try to tear you down because they don't want to see you succeed. The latter, the ones that don't want to see you succeed, you have to not think about them. The more you give them thought, the more their negative energy attracts onto you, and it slows you down from what you're trying to do.
Very true, very true. I accept that. I understand that. The way you've shared that very well. Thank you very much, Mr. Snow. Now, Mr. Snow, one fine day, we all leave this planet. None of us are going to stay over here. Each one of us have our timing to leave this planet. When you are no more on this earth, what kind of memories or what kind of legacy you would want to leave behind? How should people remember you when you are no more on this earth? In what way they should remember Mr. Snowden?
These are, hey, I'm not sure if you guys, I'm not sure how many folks follow Andrea, but I can tell you that she didn't share these questions with me beforehand at all. These are all new questions to me. So note to anyone watching her podcast, be prepared. She doesn't share the answers, the questions with you. There are some very good questions. Very thought-provoking questions. How do I want to be remembered? I have an idea. Actually, I actually have considered a number of times that at some point I'm not going to be around, which is what's causing me to want to document some of these things. Again, my story in this book here is just one of many stories that I'm looking to bring out. I hope to achieve this one thing with my eyeballing brand, which is what I want to, I hope it would be my legacy. And that is giving back to communities where 60, 70, 80, 100 years from now, some poor Black kid, I mean Black kid in the terms of just less people with less of an opportunity to travel globally and see different cultures. This is so important to me, is to just get people out of their box to see another culture, because we all know that humanity would be much more, it would be much better if you experience different cultures. So when that person, whether it's a minority kid or white kid or male or female, 100 years from now, that person is receiving a trophy or an award from a far off country that another organizer from a coffee shop had organized an eyeballing around the world challenge, or an eyeballing contest, to bring them over to receive this thing underneath the brand eyeballing. And at some point, if you were to connect the dots, you'll know that that is an initiative that I created. The eyeballing brand, in collaboration with Oracle Travels, my travel agency, is bringing competition tourism. Competition tourism to those folks who otherwise wouldn't have an opportunity. We just connected with 4 players out of Abuja, Nigeria, and the organizer, the coach, has said they're going through such tough times over there that this contest is a huge attribute to what they're doing, and a huge honor opportunity for those players to dream that they can go see something different. Our first sponsor is an engineer, Frenchman out of Paris, France. He sponsored his one team, $25, 5 players, and told us to go ahead and open the draft, have an open draft, meaning anyone out there can play on this team if they just say, put me in the game. If you have a dream, if you have hope, you can just raise your hand, contact us. We're going to take your name. We're going to find a sponsor to put you on that team and let you compete in the global contest. If this can happen while I'm gone, then that would be a happy man up there.
Wow, that's really so nice. Thank you so much for sharing that. I like the genuinity that you have within you. You have a genuine heart. Like, you want to see the underprivileged or the people who lack the resources to enjoy life, to reach out to people. You've also said one experiences more joy when they get to connect with different cultural, people. Or me, I mean, let me put that right. With different cultures. Experience
Yes.
different cultures. That's what you've meant. That's really nice. So when we experience different cultures, meet different people, and then, our horizon increases, like we begin to see life in a more beautiful way, learn to accept things, and learn to be more humane than to have hatred and, violence, and so much of trouble that's going on around the world. If the world could transform in the right way and, focus on peace, happiness, on games, on sports, that would really be nice. I really like the way you put all of that. Very, very nice. Well done, Mr. Snow. Well done.
Thank you.
Now, Mr. Snow, your sweetest moment in life till date. You might have experienced a lot of happiness at different intervals in your life. Amongst all of this, all of them, which is the most sweetest moment in your life, if you could share that with us?
The most sweetest moment in my life. I don't know if these are really, really good questions, and the answer's in my head already, but I'm trying to just imagine, is there anything more better than this? No, it isn't. My daughter being born.
Wow.
I've got 3 boys, and my last child, my daughter. You mentioned something at the beginning, that I've been here for 15 years in Malaysia with my wife Claire. That was a bit of a correction there. I've been here in Malaysia for 15 years. I met my wife here 12 years ago, and so we've been married for 8 years. So just so everyone else, 8 years. But in my previous marriage for 20 years with my ex-wife, my daughter was my last child born with her, and that was really, yeah. So I'm a daddy's girl, or she's a daddy's girl, and she's got me wrapped around her pinky finger. She's almost 6 feet tall, as tall as I am. She had a basketball scholarship playing in Miami-Dade College. So I'm super very excited about that, and my eyes still sparkle when she calls me. She's going to be 21 years old this year. Well, 21 years old this year, I think. Yes.
I could see you're a proud father. That's
Yes.
it. Nice. You've explained that so sweetly. Thank you very much. You've shared it very nicely with us. And we wish you many more happiness, happy times with your family. That's really nice, sir. Now, sir, we'll talk about mental health. Now, we've seen the youngsters around the world getting disconnected from the normal life, either going into alcohol or drugs, or maybe, they just neglect studies. Like, they're not focused on how they should take their life forward. Now, let's talk about mental health. Now, what do you have to share with the younger generation? How they should take hold of their thought process? Should they open up? Because many of them don't open up that easily. You were able to converse with your mom and say, "Mom, I had I have migraine," and then she used to connect with you. There was a bonding between a mother and son. But nowadays, children don't open up to their mothers or fathers. But they are all within themselves, a few of them. So, what is the message, or what is the suggestion you have for such youngsters who suffer within themselves and don't want to share it with others? The moment you share it with you're the right kind of people, you are healing. When you don't do that and suffer in silence, that's the time you have to break that barrier and come out. What is the suggestion from Mr. Snow?
That's a very important question, very important topic. And I used to be very much anti these social media platforms. I really thought that they were doing more damage than good. But then again, I shifted my thought process, as I told you before, into a positive environment. Excuse me. And again, the moment that you switch to a more positive energy field, which is very hard to do, number one, until you start practicing. But then you start to see I get all these other positive things coming to me across social media. So from a mental health standpoint, first, please talk about it to someone. You cannot keep it bottled up inside. Whether it's, even if it's a person who, in this case, if you don't have anyone else except for people who are negative around you, first talk with someone, number one. Preferably someone that is going to be, preferably someone who's positive. But there's a lot of fantastic mental health coaches on social media. In fact, I'll give my good friend Mauricio Mercini a plug. My Masterman, the work that he's doing over at My Masterman is incredible. I have yet to partake in any of his men's circle retreats and things like this. Sometimes it didn't work out timing wise, but also my own particular block. But it isn't from not wanting to go. It's because I get so much from him, just like this on this screen. I tune into what he's doing, what he's saying, and it helps me. So for the young people today, there's so many of these mental health coaches out there, whether it's men mental health coaches, women mental health coaches. I know a few of them already that I just listen to, right? And they help me along the way. So if you don't want to, if you're not ready to speak to someone, because that is the number one first thing that you must get to. But if you're not ready for that, everyone has their own timeline. Tune in to someone who is addressing it from a positive standpoint. It will change your life. It will help you along the way. If you don't have anyone to reach out to, then reach out to me. Go to one of my addresses, reach out to me. I'm not an expert, I'm not a professional. What I'm going to do is I'm going to listen to you, and I'm going to maybe refer you to a link you should listen to. But there's lots of people out there who actually genuinely wants, as I want to help you to travel to another culture and see some different experiences, there's people in my orbit that want to help you with your mental health issues just as well.
That's really nice. I really like the way you put it. Very, very nice. Thank you so much, Mr. Snow. That's really nice. So don't bottle up your emotions, friends. Just speak out, meet the right kind of people and seek the right kind of help. And Mr. Snow has also agreed, if none responds to you, sir, is they ready? Mr. Snow is ready to connect with you and guide you to the right path. So don't keep your emotions bottled up. Speak out. Don't suffer in silence. Now, Mr. Snow, imagine we give you a time machine in hand and ask you to click the red button that is visible there. That will take you immediately into the past era. And there you have to relive somebody's life and return back as a project. I repeat the question for you to make it more clear. Imagine we give you a time machine in hand and there's a red button over there. You just have to click the button and that takes you into the past era. You have to relive somebody's life and come back. If this was the case, whose life you'd love to relive?
Wow, whose life would I love to relive? It would have to be, oh wow, a traveler of some sort. It would have to be someone in aviation. I've always wanted to be a pilot. And so in dealing with aviation, it would have to be probably now an astronaut. So any of those fellows who would have walked on the moon, for sure. It would have to be one of those. I would imagine that anybody watching this would think that it should probably be more someone profound, perhaps. But for me, travel was everything. So going back to being a pilot and flying to the moon in outer space is very, very, very fascinating to me.
Would you like to mention the personality's name that you'd like to relive their life? Anybody in particular?
So that's a very good question. I don't know. I would want to go back to learn to be a pilot and fly to the moon, but I don't know anyone's life I would try to relive or put it in that situation. And I'm very interested to know. I'm not sure what your background is, but I would be interested to know if there's any psychiatrists watching this piece here. What does that say about me if I can't imagine whose life I would like to go back to relive? Again, guys, you come to Andrea's podcast, be prepared. Watch her podcast, watch this podcast. You know what kind of questions are gonna come out. This is fantastic. Mari didn't warn me about this. No, but really, I look back on my life. My life had had some many challenges. I don't know that I would change any element of it except for just this one. I've always said this. If I could go back and change one thing about myself, what would it be? And that is, I would have paid a little bit more attention in school in the early years. Otherwise, my failures, my challenges, my ups and my downs, I know wholeheartedly that is all part of it. That is all part of it. And I wouldn't change any of it. I wouldn't change much of it except for that one piece is to pay more attention to school. You know, kids, listen to this old guy. When you are younger, the teachers are teaching you some different ways to study, different ways to learn. Never mind about the content of learning. Get the foundation on how to learn down, different techniques on how to learn down. If you get those techniques of how to learn, the sky's the limit for you. You're gonna go very, very far if you just learn how to learn. My thing was growing up, I didn't learn how to learn, and until a much later age. Question for your psychiatrist that you've asked this question to: What does it say for the individual who can't, doesn't want to, can't, or answers the question the way I answered? Given that, because it's a great opportunity to go back and live someone else's life. But what if you just don't want to? I want to find that out.
Sure, sir. I'll help you on that. Now, sir, we go on to the next question. What has your role been with regard to protecting the environment? What are you very close to when you connect with nature? Is it trees, plants, or maybe flowers or animals? What is it that keeps you glued to nature?
I quite like the animals. I had an opportunity to go to South Africa and venture up to Kruger National Forest into the tri-border region, and that closeness to nature is absolutely amazing. And obviously, what we're doing as humans is just an atrocity to this planet. I'll give shouts out to my friend David Chandran. Are you still with me? I give shouts out to my friend David Chandran. Do we have a breaking connection there? I had a call coming in.
Yes.
Okay, so shouts out to my friend David Chandran, who was he was a proponent of saving the planet, and he says that if everyone does this one thing, think about this: if you walk outside your house, you see a piece of rubbish, just pick it up, put it in the trash once a day. If you do it once a day, and if you're the head of your household and your family doesn't really go out, let's say you have 2 kids and a wife that stays home, so that's 4 of you total. So when you go out, you pick up 4 pieces of rubbish every day. So imagine if we all did this and there's one same walk of street that we walk down, we see the rubbish there, obviously the place would be clean. It would be great if people didn't throw the rubbish outside. That would be great. But we know people are not going to play by the rules all the time. So what we can do is, very simply put, you can walk down once a day, see a piece of trash, just put it in the receptacle. If everyone did this, situation solved.
Yes, I really like this. That's a beautiful message for all of us to, not declutter the space up. And of course, if you find any trash around, please help in clearing it. That's really very nice. Thank you for sharing that, Mr. Snow. Now we'll go on to the small round called as the rapid fire round, which will take another 5 minutes. Of course, with your permission, Mr. Snow, I take another 5 minutes from you.
Oh my God, I mean, more questions in a faster time space. Oh my God. Yes. Okay, let's go. Rapid fire, 5 minutes. Let's go.
Yes. So, Mr. Snow, this will be about your likes and dislikes, like where you'll have to share in 1 word or 2 words, or maybe a sentence maximum, and it'll be a brief session. Yes.
Well, so you saw how the interview was going so far. That is going to be a challenge. Brevity is not my strong suit. Let's try it.
Sure. My dear friends, join us now on this small round called as the rapid fire round to get to know the likes and dislikes of our celebrity and guest, none other than Mr. Snowden. He's a wonderful human being, genuine, pure at heart, wanting the very best for one and all. Let's get to know his likes and dislikes on this small segment called as the rapid fire round. Your favorite color?
Green.
Your favorite holiday spot? You visited several countries. Amongst all of them, which is the favorite one?
Favorite holiday spot, all of them, holiday in Germany.
Your favorite movie?
My favorite movie, oh, I don't have a favorite movie anymore. It used to be Under the Cherry Moon. It's a terrible movie, but Under the Cherry Moon is my favorite movie.
Mm-hmm. How would you define freedom in 1 sentence?
Freedom in 1 sentence? Freedom in 1 sentence would be, to me, happiness daily.
That's really nice. Are you a good cook too?
Oh my God, fantastic.
Fantastic cook. That's great. What is it that you prepare so well?
I'm a breakfast guy. I mean, I do amazing breakfast. We have Sunday brunches sometimes at my house for the community. Or we used to before pandemic.
That's great. Now, Mr. Snow, imagine you have a magic wand in your hand and you could ask any 3 things. Any 3 wishes. You could fulfill any 3 wishes with that magic wand. What are the 3 things that you would ask from that magic wand?
Seriously? World peace and hunger? No, no. Magic wand, three things, anything. Um, it would be number one, to be healthy. That would be first and foremost, to be healthy. Number two would be to have enough to give to those in need routinely. And three is to be able to spend as much time with my life partner, Claire, as possible.
How sweet. That's really nice. That's really very nice. Your favorite morning breakfast, what is it that you love to eat when you get up in the morning and after freshening up? What is it that you'd love to have?
Oh, I like eggs. Eggs. If you come to my house for brunch, I would ask you, what kind of eggs do you want? Everyone says, well, what do you want to make? I say, I want to make whatever you want. If you want an omelet, you want an egg white omelet, you want eggs over easy, you want poached eggs, which is my favorite. Yeah, we do all this at my place. I like to make eggs.
Yes, Mr. Snow. Thank you for sharing that. Now, Mr. Snow, if you were asked to sacrifice one thing in your life, what is it that you'd love to sacrifice?
Well, first off, I wouldn't love to sacrifice anything in my life. If I was asked to sacrifice one thing in my life, I would ask the question, why are you asking me to sacrifice? uh, I would sacrifice beer. If I had to sacrifice something which is not fair, I mean, this is really, Andrea, this is a very unfair question. I would sacrifice my beer or alcohol intake.
Yeah, I like the answer. That's really nice. That's very interesting. Now imagine, Mr. Snow, you've met the Almighty and you have a chance to ask the Almighty a question. What is the question that you'll ask the Almighty?
Wow. Can I ask two questions?
Yes, please.
Did I serve you well? And where did I go wrong?
That's really nice. Very inspiring. That's a takeaway for all of us. That's a beautiful message. To reflect on your own self, to understand who you are, what work are you doing? Are you doing the right kind of work? I really get the message very clear. That's very nice. Are you a tea or a coffee person?
I am a coffee guy.
Mr. Snow, you believe in experience or theoretical learning? Like they say, experiential learning or theoretical learning. Which one precedes the other?
I'm sorry, you say spiritual learning?
Experience
learning. So I'm only because this has been a huge portion of my life is experience. I wouldn't neglect the theoretical learning as well, but just for my own self, it's experience.
Do you have a sweet tooth too?
No. It's funny for me is that when my wife and we have dinner or go out for dinner, I can't have dessert after my meal. I just can't. I don't mind having dessert anytime throughout the day, at any odd time of the day. I'm not a big sweet guy, but also after dinner, I hardly ever take dessert after. I never take dessert after dinner, ever. Very rarely. But I make a very good cheesecake. And if how sometimes they bring the platter over to you, the dessert platter, I purposely don't look at it. If they put it in my face and I see cheesecake, then I'll have a slice of cheesecake. I can't say no to cheesecake.
Very honest on that. That's really nice. Your favorite kind of music?
I don't listen to music anymore. I used to like R&B music. My favorite artist is Prince. But I like a wide range of music, but I no longer have love and passion for music like I used to. So anything that can kind of get me moving. I like dancing, but I can't specify a particular favorite genre of music anymore. It's all garbage these days anyway.
I get that. I get that. Now imagine, Mr. Snow, you are all alone sitting down in a room with no gadgets around you, no book around you to read, nor a pen and paper to write anything as well. You're all alone and no family and friends around you. You just have a window, and opposite the window, there is a blank wall, nothing to even look and view out of the window. Anybody in that situation will be connected to their thoughts. Now, if you are in that situation, where do your thoughts take you? Into the past, present, or future?
My thoughts are always forward. It's always in the future. I'm always thinking of ways to do it, whatever it is. And in the situation you just described, my thought would be, how do I get out of this damn room?
That's really nice. Thank you for sharing. How would you define a beautiful day? Or how would you like to define 24 hours that are gifted to you and to everyone around the world? How would you put in 24 hours just in one word? How it should be for you?
You say in one word?
Yes, 24 hours. How should 24 hours be for you? Full of peace, joy, happiness, work?
Sunshine.
Wow, wonderful. That speaks volumes of what you answered. That's great. Everything comes under it, you see?
Yes.
Sunshine. There are so many things attached to that. That's wonderful.
I was almost, Andrea, I was really afraid of that question originally, but it came. Yes.
That's really nice. That's really nice. Very spontaneous on that. Now, the best gift you've received till date?
The best gift I received to date. A friend of mine who put me on this entrepreneurship journey that I'm on right now. He gave me the gift of making me identify that I am an entrepreneur. And he told me this passage that he gave to me. So someone else wrote it. He read it somewhere else, but it summarizes like this. Your success allows them to be successful. And it goes back into when I was saying that I would not share my story with people because I didn't want people to think that I was trying to big up myself or pat myself on the back. But when I explained this to him, he explained that Snow, and he shared that passage. Your success allows them to be successful. Your success gives them the light to look for and to know and to say it's all right to take these chances and to try something different, try something new, just to attain whatever you might have. So the best gift I have, Islam, dude, love you, brother. This journey I'm on is all you started it.
That's really nice. Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much, Mr. Snow, for sharing your time with us. I really had a great time getting to know you as a person. You come across as a warm gentleman with a genuine heart. That's really very nice. Towards the end of the session, I'd like you to share 3 powerful words from your end as a gift to the International Fab Talks. Apart from please, sorry, and thank you, we always put in a request to the celebrities who are here with us to share 3 magical words from your end. Over to you, sir.
3 magical words from my end.
The first 3 words that come to your mind.
Don't stop believing.
Wow, that's really nice. Would you mind repeating that for us once again?
Sure. The 3 words that come to mind that I'll leave you with is don't stop believing.
Don't stop believing.
Yes.
That's really nice. Thank you so much. You've given a wonderful message towards the end. Don't stop believing in the good things that the world has to offer, and the good people around you could really be a source of inspiration. Like today, we've been inspired a lot by our celebrity and guest, none other than Mr. Marcus Snowden, lovingly called as Snow. Thank you so much for your time. I had a wonderful time with you. Stay blessed and stay connected. Looking forward to many more interactions with you, Mr. Snow.
Oh my goodness, this was a fantastic, fantastic session. Thank you so much, Andrea. I really appreciate it. And I appreciate you.
Thank you very much. Stay blessed and stay connected. Thank you. My dear friends, with this, we'd like to come to an end to the International Fab Talks for today. If you like what the International Fab Talk team is doing, stay connected with us. Like, comment, subscribe, and share to the International Fab Talks. And do us a favor, share this video with the right kind of people. And if you'd love to join and participate in the eyeballing community, please do join and contribute your time. And of course, you will grow. As Sir has mentioned it very clearly, we will share the description details with regard to the website and all of that. We'll describe and share everything in the description when we share this video. Let me put that right. We'll share all the links connected to what Sir has just explained with regard to eyeballing. We'll post it in the description so that you could connect with Sir and you could really make good use of your time. And you could, play locally and win globally. That is it. I'd like to share it. That's really nice. So friends, please do share this video with the right kind of people and be inspired and keep inspiring the world. Above all, love yourself, love your family, and protect the environment. Stay blessed. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. My dear friends, with this, we come to an end to the International Fab Talks for today. If you like what the International Fab Talk team is doing, stay connected with us. Like, comment, subscribe, and share to the International Fab Talks. And above all, don't forget to love yourself, respect your family, and protect the environment as well. Stay blessed and stay safe.